All right, here's patch notes for this setup that I have going on here. The coming into my external, let's start with that. Coming into my external is chords plats on chords mode. That's being mostly almost entirely controlled by the Varigate 4 Plus, which is getting its sync from here set at 52 beats per minute. Kind of slow, but that's just what it worked out to be. Track number 1 here, set on CV, is controlling kind of randomly up and down the timbre here, which changes the inversion of the chord being played by plats in chord mode here. Channel number 2 here with just 3 steps activated, pretty slowly divided, is triggering plats. I have it running through the splitter as well, so that it also triggers the ADSR here in the mini brute. So channel 2, it's always triggering the first time, sometimes triggering with a decent amount of ratcheting on the second beat here. That's triggering plats and the ADSR envelope here. Channel number 3 here is then changing the harmonics, what chords it is. I kind of slowly did that again on big division, randomly in order. Kind of chose ones that worked well, starting with the harmonic turned all the way down, so that it's just on unison and octaves, locked in what chords I wanted, and then kind of spread those through, and then had this work on completely random mode there. That all is being sent out into the external input of the mini brute. So other things that are going on then, oddly enough, the pitch track here I'm not really using, but I do have the gate, all of these turned up to tie mode. I'm not sure exactly why I did that, but that's just kind of how I set it up so that the sound always started. I ended up just turning up the amp all the way. I think that kind of did the same thing, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't getting re-triggered by other things down here. So the mod 1 track I have set just 5 steps long on a pretty slow quarter note tempo. That's sending its sine wave out into the triangle input. Out of here into the triangle input up there, the metal in. So that comes out over here as just our basic root note. It's set at 68 hertz on the sine wave there. And the amplitude on each step I had turning down. So each of these 5 steps gets quieter and quieter as it goes through by pushing shift and twisting. Loudest and then quieter for the next 5 tracks. My mod 2 track here is where I'm playing that main melody coming across here. Locked it into lots of C's and F's and things across the different octaves, C's, G's, and a couple D's and a couple F's into there. Kind of randomly, I didn't think too much about it, but in general it's mostly going up in pitch, but not entirely. And that's being sent onto the pitch in of VCO1. So maybe I could have just done that in the original pitch track, but for some reason I did it this way, and that's how it works. Then other things happening here. Let's see. I've got some dummy cables plugged into the amp input and into the AD envelope input, so that they don't get triggered by different things. I'm not sure if this one's necessary, but I did it anyway. The AD envelope here that I have set on looping is then controlling the amount of my ultra saw, which may have been doing some interesting things, I'm not sure. But more interesting than that is the fact that I have the saw wave out going into be its own FM operator. So when I turn this up, it gets some really interesting things happening that effect was done by having it control its own FM input. And then this guy also, I have a dummy cable plugged into the main thing for, or the pitch input for VCO2. Again, not necessarily sure if I needed it or not, but just to tune that one to a fifth above where my sine wave is as we go with that. And then LFO1 is controlling the cutoff, or the FM, the frequency modulation of the cutoff point. LFO1 was controlling that, set on just kind of random sine waves. The cutoff point was also being affected by my mod 2 track, which was my pitch. So as a high, if I turn this up, the higher the pitch, the more cutoff, higher the cutoff point for this too. So give a little more brightness to the higher notes as it goes through, or not. So I think that's pretty much everything in here, and yeah, hope you enjoyed.